I'm excited for you to see this case study testimonial of Amanda. Amanda has only been marketing for 8 months and she is already crushing it. And listen, Amanda is not an anomaly. I've helped hundreds of nurses do the same thing. Under a year ago, Amanda was at the bedside, and now she's only been marketing for 8 months, and yet she's had over 80 cases as a legal nurse consultant. How crazy is that? I hope you enjoy hearing her story. Let's get started. Amanda, thank you so much for joining me today. I am really excited to talk to you because I know you've had amazing success, and I think it's going to be a real motivation for anyone who's listening of where they can go with their career. Because I know you did not start off the most confident, and you've gained so much confidence over time. So before we get into all of that, though, just kick us off with telling us a little bit about where you're coming from with your nursing background, and how did you end up finding me in Catalyst?
Sure. So I've been a nurse for the past 13 years. I started out, originally I started out while I was in nursing school. I was a nursing assistant at the University of Virginia. And it's funny, when I told my mom that I wanted to be a nurse, she was like, "You know what nurses do, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know exactly what nurses do. Do vital signs, give meds, help people feel better. Like, I'll be great at it." And then I remember that first day of orientation being a nursing assistant and walking into the room. And I've got a patient that he's a bilateral amputee. He's got this trapezis bed. He's got a Foley catheter. He's got blood all over the place because he pulled out his IV. And I just stood there and I was like, oh crap. I was like, what do I even do? And fortunately, I was training. So the lady walked, oh, let's get him cleaned up. We'll let the nurse know, blah, blah, blah. And, it's then you go from that to like, oh, Mr. Johnson, please don't poop in the trash can. Let me help you to the toilet kind of thing. Like, um, you just grow and learn as you go on your nursing career. But so I started out as a little baby nursing assistant, trying to get my feet wet. Then I went into a float pool position at a community hospital where I was trained to work on three different med surg floors. I did oncology, ortho, and a general med surg floor. Um, and then after my first year, because the first year is always the
Yeah.
toughest when you are a baby nurse, I was presented with the opportunity to become a fully trained float pool nurse, or I could pick a unit that I particularly loved. So, of
Oh,
course, I went with I want to keep learning, I want to keep growing, I want to learn as much as I can about this field. And so, I upgraded from my three floors. I did telemetry, I did emergency department, I did postpartum, day
wow.
surgery, just about everywhere that I could go. I learned how to work within those different fields. So I gained so much experience and I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. So that's kind of how I gained my nursing background. I, after about 5 years, I met someone, we fell in love, you know, how life happens. And then we moved to Massachusetts and I thought I took that as an opportunity to kind of try something different within my nursing field. I did a little bit of outpatient. I taught at a community college within their simulation lab.
Oh,
Um, and then I ended up going back to the hospital because I wasn't quite challenged enough within my outpatient role. I continued to teach, but I just felt like I was missing something. And I went back to the hospital. I worked for this huge hospital system where they had three hospitals, and I was trained to float within three of them. So every morning I would call this nursing supervisor and have to figure out which hospital I'm going to, which floor I'm working on. Um, and it was challenging. Every day you get a new patient assignment. Every day you're working with a new group of nurses. And but what was important to me is having that flexibility and that adaptability within my nursing career. And I've translated very well within my legal nurse consulting business. That
yeah,
various
for sure.
background, that flexibility, who I'm working for, it just all just compounded and built the business that I have today.
You've got a really interesting and well-versed past in nursing. That's cool. Now, two questions. One is what made you want to get out of that, and how did you end up finding Catalyst? And
Mhm.
my second question is, I guess it's three questions, huh?
All
What made
right.
you want to get out of it? How'd you end up finding Catalyst? And what are your thoughts about do other nurses need this much like variation in their experience to be able to be successful as legal nurses? So that's my
Okay.
three questions to you there.
So throughout my career, I felt like I was kind of in a job, right? I've been
Mm,
in bedside nursing for, 13 years now. And there's so many different avenues I could have gone down. I could have gone back to school. I could have gone into management. I could have chose a specialty profession, but none of it was really what I was looking for. Nothing really resonated with me. And the funny thing is, when I was going through nursing school, there were two fields of nursing that really interested me. We had to do a presentation on what really interested us, and there's two. First one was travel nursing. Well, I've done that. Second one was legal nurse consulting. Man, did that sound amazing, right? Um, and so I always knew it was something I wanted to do, but I didn't know how. So, I was doing some research. I was like, what can I do that will really give me that fulfillment back with my career? And so I did some digging around. I looked at various work from home jobs and different things that I could do with my career, but nothing, I don't know, nothing really stood out to me or spoke to me. Um, so I found legal nurse consulting. I really wanted to go down this pathway, but I wasn't sure how. How do you even get started? Who knows a legal nurse? I've never met a legal nurse before. So I saw you had posted something on Facebook, and I reached out to you, and I was like, "Hey, I'm very interested in this. Tell me more about it." And so we started talking about that, and then I was like, "Wait a second, let me find out more about this guy. Like, before I,
right. Who is this guy?
who are you? Like,
Yeah.
so I did some research. I looked you up on LinkedIn. I attended one of your webinars, which was amazing. Um, and it really spoke to me. I was like, oh, this is what legal nurse is. This is how I can make a difference. This is how I can be a legal nurse. And this is what I really want to do. And so I found you, and then I made the jump into Catalyst and become a legal nurse. But
Yeah.
speaking to your third question, no,
Yeah.
you do not have to have all the crazy background experience that I have. I'm just a very I'm not, nerdy, I guess. I just want to keep learning and growing and be gain as much information and education as I can. I'm just never settled and happy with just one thing. So, but absolutely not. You don't need to do all the stuff that I did from postpartum to ortho to ER. You don't need that experience. What you need to know is how to use those basic knowledge and skills that you know as a nurse. What's wrong? What's wrong with this case? And how can you use your brain and your information and your experience to help attorneys build their cases?
Yes, yes, and you definitely do have some nerd in you because I think you enjoyed when we talked about taxes recently in our business accelerator calls. So, yeah, I mean, I love it too. So a little bit of nerdiness there going on,
Business, financing, all that stuff just interests me so much. I'm such a dork.
but that's okay. That's okay. All right, so tell me, all right, how long have you been in Catalyst now? How long have you been in the program?
Yeah, so I'm getting very close to my year mark.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, I think it was the beginning of April I joined, and look at us, we're heading into March.
Wow. I know, right?
Uh-huh.
And so when did you first start marketing as a legal nurse?
I started around July.
Okay.
Um,
It's
I
about
kind of,
8 months or so.
yeah, and it was a challenge for me, marketing
Mm,
and putting myself out there. Um, But I did, and within about 2 weeks, I got my first attorney contract signed, which was amazing and
pretty
terrifying and
good.
exciting and all the wonderful things that go along with it, right?
Yep.
Um, and then I submitted my work and I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder how I did. Like, I hope he loves it. I hope he loves it. And then I that particular attorney I didn't hear from for a little while. I got some other work coming in. I did some subcontracting and whatnot. And then 2 months later, he reaches back out to me and he says, I secured the policy limits of what I was going after based off of the
Perfect.
demand letter that you wrote. And he's like, here's two more cases for you. And I was like elated. I was like, yes, this is what I wanted to do. This is what the type of work that I was meant to do. And so it was amazing.
And
Uh,
that's when it started.
yeah, yeah. And demand letters actually is kind of my little niche. I love, I can do full chronos and reports and everything, but I really love writing demand letters. So,
That's
um,
cool.
I,
And how successful have you been so far? You've been marketing for about 8 months now. What kind of success have you had as a legal nurse?
so my first year, I probably did about 50 cases. It varied
Wow.
in complexity. So, I mean, I've had some little bitty baby cases that were about 50 pages long. Pretty straightforward. This was the injuries. This is what happened. Um, versus thousands and thousands of pages of medical records with multiple prior collisions, multiple injuries, tons of past medical history that I really had to dig into. All right, let me think about this for a minute. And sometimes you just got to you work on it, then you put it away and like let me just stew on this for a minute. And then you open it back up with a fresh set of eyes, and you're like, oh, yes, I know exactly how I'm going to represent this information and present it to my attorney client.
That's awesome. And how has this year started off for you? Have you gotten many cases this year so far?
So this year I'm way on track to overcome my past year. January was a very busy month for me, so busy. I think we did probably about 18 cases my first month in
Wow.
January. February was pretty big. I think I did about 13 cases, but a lot of them were bigger ones. So it took a lot more
Wow.
time to work on those.
So
So,
you've had like 30 cases already this year,
mhm.
and you've been marketing for 8 months. That is so cool. You've got more cases under your belt than a lot of legal nurses who have been doing this for years and years and years. Your success is fantastic. I love it.
Thank you.
What
It's
did, Go
it's
ahead,
just
go ahead.
when you find something that you're good at and that you enjoy doing, it doesn't feel like work. At the end of the day, you're going for that paycheck, but really what I strive for is good, high quality work that they're like blown away by, so that they trust me, they want to keep coming back to me. We have this relationship. I'm like, oh, hey, by the way, I found a couple red flags on our case. Just want to give you a heads up on like I wrote this beautiful demand letter. We've got a really great case, but we've got some other stuff going on that we kind of have to be aware of. So that's kind of how I've approached my business.
I love it. Well, you've obviously added value to your attorney clients over and over because you keep getting more and more cases. So amazing work.
Yeah.
Amazing. What did you find some of the biggest challenges in your career or life before you started working with us at Catalyst?
Well, I think I mentioned I was kind of in a job. I wasn't in a
Hmm.
career. I was missing something. And it just, I just kind of got to a point where I needed a new challenge. I also became a mom within the past couple of years. I've got now a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And I was like, what kind of mom are they going to see me as? Are they going to see me as
Hmm.
a mom that's gone for 3 days a week because I work 12 to 12 or 7 to 7? I work 12-hour shifts, and they don't see me for 3 days, and then they're a little bit mad at me because mom disappeared for 3 days, right?
Yeah.
Versus mom gets me up in the morning, mom takes me to preschool, mom puts me to bed at night. Mom is a very strong, motivated individual that loves what she does. Like that's the
And a
kind of
successful entrepreneur.
successful entrepreneur is just crazy to me. Crazy. But yeah, so that's really what kind of I was just kind of stuck, right? Like who wants to be in just the job where you get in and get up and you clock in and you clock out. And yeah, I mean, I love nursing. I love what I do. I love helping people, but it got to a point where it wasn't what moved me, what challenged me, what drove me anymore. So I needed to find something different, and that's what I did.
I love that. And you've proven that it's possible.
It's
And
possible.
even with kids, even with life change and two kids, and look at you go. I mean, and now you're being mom and you're being successful, high-powered businesswoman. Look at you
Yeah,
go.
mean, that's a dream, right? That's a
It's
dream.
kinda, yeah.
Not for
Well,
you, Randy, you're a man, but
yeah. I mean, maybe I'm not going to be a high power businesswoman. I guess that's not in my dreams, but oh, well, so all right. What was it about Catalyst? Like, what is it about this program we've created that really helped you get here, Amanda? You're living the dream so many people want to live. What would you say were the one or two things in Catalyst that really helped you to form this career that you now have?
well, first off, you get to do practice cases within Catalyst. If I was trying to do this by myself, an attorney is like, here's some medical records, I need a full credo and report.
Hmm.
Okay. And then, I try to come up with something, and then I turn into the attorney, and they'd be like, "What is this? Like, this doesn't help me at all." So the practice cases were amazing because you actually got to figure out how to create a work product, how to educate the attorney, how to go through the records and pull out what's important. And that is when everything clicked to me. That's when I was like, oh, ooh, look at this. Oh man, she was really hurt. Ooh, this changed. And then, oh, what the heck is this? How does this relate to our case? And then if I don't know what this means, my client's not going to know what this means. So let me explain this and see how it fits into the puzzle and the story that we're trying to create and build for our client. So that was amazing. Learning how to write professionally and build amazing reports, how to identify opposing counsel, what things that could be brought up against you, kind of thing. Um, what's their past medical history? What are their injuries? How everything fits into the puzzle of the story of the case. And that's learning how to do that. I knew it was in there somewhere, but I didn't know how to use it, right?
Right.
Um, Secondly, we have an amazing community. Like, how many places can you join that are all cheering you on, that are not like, well, good for you for just getting another kid. No, it's amazing if you got your own attorney client, right? It's amazing. It's amazing that you're finishing your practice cases. It's amazing all the success that you're having. So, so excited for you. Maybe I know something that you don't know. Let's reach out. Let's collaborate. We've got so many amazing nurses with so many different backgrounds. Like, where can you find that? And everyone's got the same goals and everyone's got the same dreams, and we're all cheering each other along. And like I said, you can't find that anywhere else. Personally, I would have given up a long time ago. If I had to try
Hmm.
to noodle along and figure this stuff out all by myself, there's just no way. I would have given up on my dreams. It wouldn't have happened for me. But I've had, times where I've struggled, and then you just need a little push from the people within the community that are cheering you on, and that pushes you over those obstacles and hurdles that you have. And that's really been the biggest needle movers and the biggest things that I've found that have got me to the point where I'm at today.
every I think really every testimonial video I've recorded, everybody says the community is top tier and it's one of the things that's helped them be successful. It's
Mhm.
a couple of people have said, Randy, I like you a lot, but the community
Yes,
totally outshines you. I'm like, I agree. I completely agree. I mean, you're right. Where do you find hundreds of other nurses doing the same thing, all being supportive? And you're definitely one of those people that just adds so much to our community. So thank you for being a part of it. And I love that that has meant a lot to you.
absolutely, absolutely.
And I know you mentioned this a little bit. Tell me more. How has this whole journey from bedside to business ownership, how's it changed your life outside of business, outside of entrepreneurship?
So in the beginning, it was hard because I made a big change and it did affect my family. I
Mm,
mentioned I've got small kids. It's not easily trying to juggle that, to make a career change, to shift your pathway. So there was a little bit of sacrifice that went along with it. But then once you get through that hurdle of I'm making this decision, I'm changing my life, I'm going to do this, I and ultimately reap the rewards of what comes from this. And then so now I'm at the path where I've gone over the hump, and now I'm enjoy exactly where I am. I'm right where I'm meant to be. I love all the people that I work with. I work with some amazing attorneys. I work with plaintiff attorneys. I work with defense attorneys. I work with other legal nurse consultants. They're
Yeah.
amazing, and I love being a part of their team. Like, that is what it just just gets me out of bed in the morning. Was it easy? No, no. But what anything in life is easy that isn't worth overcoming some challenges that you can really feel successful and motivated about what you do every day.
And this is less than a year in. I mean,
Less than a year.
this isn't like a 12-year journey to become a neurosurgeon or this is this is less than a year after starting Catalyst, less than 8 months after starting marketing. You've changed your life. And it's funny. When I was listening to you just now, what I heard you say is in the moment, it was extremely difficult. It was hard to overcome some of these challenges. And then you were like, you have to sacrifice a little bit. And I was like, there's the hindsight, right? Now I'm on the
Yeah.
other side of it and I'm winning. And I look back and go, well, that sacrifice really wasn't that bad for where I am today. So it can feel bad when you're in it, but stick
It
with it.
can.
Yep,
And
stick with it.
that's when you can fall off the wagon, right? When you
Yep.
hit those obstacles. And that's when you need other people that are encouraging you and supporting you so that you can overcome those challenges. Because otherwise, maybe I wouldn't be where I'm at to actually, I know I wouldn't be where I'm at today. 100% I wouldn't be.
Yep. Now, there may be people watching this right now, and as you know, there's some other pathways they can take, doing it themselves or in other programs. What would you say to someone who might be watching your story right now and they're considering, should I go into legal nursing? Can I do this? Is Catalyst the best program for me? What would be your thoughts and advice to them?
So, legal nursing is a broad field. I personally specialize in personal injury. But there is so many things you can do that you're not even aware of to begin in. So, if you're
Yeah.
looking for a challenge, if you're looking for a new way of life and a new career pathway, then legal nursing is the way to go. And if you're looking to really be successful in the legal nursing realm, then Catalyst is the way to go. And I'm not just saying that because well, what, just to say it, like, I've had my own experience, right? I, I could have gone a different program, but just what I've seen just didn't really appeal to me. I didn't want to just watch some videos and take some tests and put some certification behind my name. I
Mm.
wanted actual real life skills that I could utilize that actually add value to what I'm trying to achieve. And so, if this is what you really want to do, and if Catalyst can get you to where you want to go, then hands down, like, make the jump. Like, take your career to a new level. Like, why wait? Why sit here if you're not happy with where you want to be? Now, on the other side of things, if you don't want to be a legal nurse, then don't even watch this video, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because it takes work. It
It
takes some
does.
sacrifice, right? You have to
It's
put
not
in a lot in order to benefit.
If you think you're just going to go watch a couple modules, take a couple tests, and be an amazing legal nurse, then this is not the right way for you, right?
Not gonna work. Yeah.
No.
Exactly. Well, Amanda, this has been such a cool conversation and hearing about you, your success, the way this has impacted your life, and just hearing the story of you going from bedside nurse to high-powered businesswoman, like a successful entrepreneur, which apparently is still hard for you to hear,
It's
but
always going to be hard for me to hear.
it's so motivating. It's motivating to me, and I hope it's motivating to anyone else who's watching. If people want to find out more about you and your business, what's the best way for them to, where should they go to find out more about you?
Sure. So you can check out my website. That's www.coastallegalnursing.com. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can search my name, Amanda Bohr, and reach out to me there if you got any questions or if you're interested in working together. I would love to hear from you. So yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Amanda. I really appreciate you doing this. I really appreciate you sharing your story, and I'm so glad to hear that Catalyst has really paved that way for you to put into work and change your life.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Randy. I appreciate it.